Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables and welcome to my September reading wrap up. First of all, I want to apologize for the audio. My mic finally bit the dust. I don't have time to replace it right now. So camera audio it is and it's not going to be great and I apologize. So I'm sorry. So moving on to the books I read. I managed to read 7 books this month, which is not the best, but in the grand scheme of things, I think that's pretty good. It was a hellacious month. I don't know if a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram, but I did share a little bit more on there. Pretty much at the beginning of the month, my son, if you don't know, I have an 11-year-old. He just turned 11. He's autistic. He had his very first seizure, and it was a clonic tonic, the big one. It was horrifying, and we never experienced something like that before. We're still trying to get figured out if it's epilepsy, if it's a one-time thing, lots of EEGs, MRIs. It's just very, very hard and scary month. Like it has been, it's just been the worst month of my life. Like that was the worst day of my life. So reading has not been on my priority, which is more than understandable, honestly. So reading 7 books for me, with all that going on is like amazing in my opinion, because it is very stressful and hard and just terrifying when something is happening with your child. I'm sure a lot of you guys can attest to that. That's just a quick recap of why I haven't read as much. So hopefully in October I'll read more. I don't know. The trajectory of my life has obviously changed because something like this really kind of changes your life and just really impacts you a lot. Like my husband and I need some deep therapy from this because it was very much traumatic and PTSD, and it's still like I'm just facing a whole new level of exhaustion with watching him. Anyway, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that's just why I haven't read as much. So as always with my books, I'm going to start with the least favorite book I read during the month, moving up to my favorite. And of course, it's September, so like more than half of these are all fall-time reads. I even did a video vlogging me reading some of these. I did a video of are these fall reads worth the read? So if you want to check those out, go for it. So moving on to my least favorite book of the month, which is sad to say, The Honeycrisp Orchard Inn by Valerie Bowman. I wouldn't say high expectations for this one. I had mid-level expectations for this one, and I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was okay. I have a lot of qualms with this one. So this one is about a character named Ellie, who is a big city girl, marketer, and then in one fell swoop, she loses like her boyfriend and her job all in one day. So she kind of has to like pack her bags and go back home to Long Island to her parents, and that they run the Honeycrisp Orchard Inn. And there she learns that her parents' inn is really not doing that well. And so she gets paired up with Aiden, who was like her childhood best friend, to try to kind of save the inn, from being shut down. And that's kind of the whole book. The qualms I have with it, number one, it is so short. It's like 250 pages, which I always complain about some romance books being too long, some being too short. I think 300 to 350 is like the sweet spot for me for romance books. Number two, it was boring. It was so boring. I could not give 2 craps about any of the characters. Ellie was just kind of like your typical Hallmark girl, the big city girl that comes home and she's like, I'm big city, I don't like the small town. But of course, the more she spends there, the more she's like, oh, I do love my hometown. I do want to be here. It's like literally a Hallmark movie, which is no shame at all. If you're wanting to feel like a really cute fall romance, I check it out because it does have some good things. This book is the epitome of fall. They run an inn. They have like a little like kind of shed area where they make like pumpkin donuts and apple cider donuts, things like that. They go to a drive-in where they showcase Gilmore Girls episodes. Like everything is so autumnal, like it hits on all of those marks. If you're just looking for straight autumnal vibes, yes, pick this up. But if you're looking for kind of a really cute romance and really in-depth characters, it's a skip for me. So you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Like saying a 2 out of 5, I still would recommend this as a fall read because it does check all the autumnal boxes. But as far as like as a whole, it wasn't it for me. Falling Like Leaves by Misty Wilson. And what drew me into this is the cover. This is actually a YA contemporary, which I don't read much of. I'm just, I'm an older lady. I don't read much YA, but when I hear like fall autumnal YA reads, I do flock to them. And especially if, again, I'm going through a really turbulent, if I'm really going through a turbulent, turmoil time in my life, I kind of turn to lighter reads. I was supposed to read some darker reads this month. Didn't read any of them because I just don't need that in my life. So I read this one. It was cute. I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5. This is about a character named Ellis, who again is from the big city. She lives in New York with her mom and dad, and then she is interning. She's going to go to, I forget what school she's going to go to. I want to say like Columbia. You know, she's very much a go-getter. And then her mom and dad, you know, say they're getting separated. And her mom's like, you're going to move to Bramble Falls, where I grew up in Vermont many years ago. And she's like, I don't want to do that. This is my senior year of high school. I have a lot to do. But she's like, you're going to go with me. And so they go to Bramble Falls. And there she runs into Cooper, who was like her best friend one summer many, many moons ago. And he kind of holds a grudge because he feels like she ghosted him. And so it's all about her going to this small town where, again, it's very autumnal and things like that. And it's cute. It was cute. It was a good YA fall romance. Again, the autumnal vibes, check all the boxes off. They have autumn festivals. They have pumpkin contests. They have all the autumnal things. It was cute. I mean, for a YA, you know, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cute. Again, the cover spine is just adorable. I liked it. 3.5 out of 5. And then the other YA contemporary I read is one I was planning to read, and that is Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. This is her newest YA one. I actually prefer her YA books over her adult books, which is weird to say. But I enjoyed this one. Again, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. Please forgive me as I forgot the characters' names. But again, we follow a character. Her parents are getting divorced, and so her mom moves back to her hometown in Minnesota and the bleak winter, and she is just like, I don't want to move to Minnesota, which I understand because like I don't think I could ever survive the Minnesota winters. Like there are no jokes. I live in Virginia. I used to work with a couple of guys from Minnesota, and like on winter days, like in February, which is where it's the coldest here, they would come to work in like shorts and be like, this is like a spring day, and I'm like, but that's, you know, you're built tougher, man. Anyway, so she goes there, and then she runs into her old best friend, kind of like the same thing of like falling like leaves. And they both have animosity towards each other because they both think they ghosted each other. You can put 2 and 2 together. But somehow, you know, he is Mr. Popular. He used to be like a dorky middle school kid. Now he is like a high school ice skating god. You know, everyone loves him. I forget what they call him, but he is like the bee's knees. Somehow they get into a tiff and they have to pretend they're dating to help them both or something like that. And it's really cute. It is cute. It's, you know, ice skating. It's perfect winter read. I wouldn't say it's a fall read. I would save this more for winter because it is set in Minnesota during winter, Christmas time, all that kind of stuff. But again, super cute YA books. You can never go wrong with those, in my opinion. That's just what I think. Actually, one that I am not reading because I don't rate memoirs anymore, I did actually listen to Sister Wife by Christine Brown Woolley. I'm not a big reality TV fan, but there are some that I just stick with and I just watch. And Sister Wives is one of them. Watched it from the beginning. Why? I have no clue. Maybe because I hate watch it. I don't like the guy in it at all. The fact that he even found for a woman to marry him is just, it blows my freaking mind because he is like king narcissist and just a horrible person. That I don't think that's just my opinion. Like everybody's opinion, okay? But anyway, this is about the first wife who left. She was the third wife, technically, and then it's a whole about family polygamy, and she goes about telling her life story of growing up in polygamy and then getting into polygamy and getting out and all that kind of thing. It was entertaining. It was interesting. She had a lot of trauma with a relationship that she was in and things like that. I would recommend it. Now, if you don't watch the show, probably not, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. I listened to it. That's all I have to say about it, I guess. Next up, we have People Watching by Hannah Bohemian. I'm bummed about this one. I only gave it a 3 out of 5. And I really wanted to love this one because I have read a lot of her books and really, really enjoyed it. And this one just was not it for me. Number one, I think my biggest qualm is the cover. The cover is straight autumnal. It is like, look, these people are picnicking on a freaking fall day. There was not a fall leaf to be in sight. There was no apple picking. There was no orchards or pumpkin patches or anything, which is another, like, if publishers, if you're going to give me a fall cover, you better have some fall content. That is just me. Maybe, probably not, but it's probably everybody. But either way, that was my biggest qualm. My other one, I didn't like the romance. I really, really didn't. So this is about a character named Prudence who lives in a very small town. She lives with her parents, and her mother is diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. And another thing, like, I am currently reading a book right now about a character that has that, and I'm like, what is with this year with that? Like, it has just been so many characters that are caretakers for people with dementia, and I don't know, because my father has dementia and I'm his caretaker, so it's like I'm trying to escape that, you know, but I understand it's like a generational thing. It's like the sandwich generation where you're having to take care of your parents and you're also having to take care of your kids, and it's a lot, and it is. But either way, she's doing that, and she's not really experienced life, you know, she's very much in a bubble. And then enters Milo, who kind of moves in next door because he's going to visit his brother who is opening a brewery in this small town. And immediately the connection is set with Milo and Prudence. He's the bad boy with a high body count, and he just immediately feels for Prudence, and she maybe's like, hey, teach me some things, and he's like, okay. And I don't know, the romance just wasn't it for me. I felt like there was no chemistry, there was no real back. I'm not opposed to like instant first attraction, I'm not, but I just didn't feel it for this one. I just didn't really overall enjoy it. It was just kind of a mad one for me, which is a bummer because I know that she has said this is her favorite book she's written, which I feel horrible for saying that, but I feel horrible for thinking like I didn't really enjoy it. But if I'm just being brutally honest, it was just kind of okay for me. So moving on to The Heartbreak Hotel by Eleanor Clover. Again, I'm going to give this one, like, it is kind of a fall cover, but not a ton. But it was not really fallish. They did go to an ice cream shop, which is not fallish, but they also went hiking, which was kind of fallish, so I don't know. Either way, this is about a character named Louisa. At the beginning of the book, she's at her boyfriend's concert because her boyfriend's a big, huge concert star. Not concert star, rock star, Heather. And at the end of the concert, he's like, you know, I'm cheating on you, so I'm gonna break up. She's heartbroken, but she's like, I'm keeping this freaking house because they rented this beautiful house in like Colorado. I forget where at, but it's a real place, and it sounds straight up beautiful. Like I want to go there. But she realizes quickly that she can't afford this huge house, and she's like, crap, what am I gonna do? Because she loves this house. She loves spending time in it. She loves where it's at and everything. So she goes to the owner of the house named Henry, who is the town veterinarian, and she's like, look, I have an idea. Why don't I make this house a bed and breakfast, and the money I get from it, I can just pay you for rent. And so he's like, fine, you know, because I really don't want to deal with the house. And so she opens up, I think it's called the Comeback Inn, for people that are going through heartbreak, whether they've lost somebody they love through passing away, whether they've been through a really bad breakup. It's a place where you can come and kind of collect yourself together, if you will, which I love the idea of it. It was cute, an in-depth fall read, I would say. It's not like so lighthearted because Louisa and Henry, poor Henry, has been through so much. And I did like the romance. I didn't love it. It was just kind of a 3.5 out of 4. It was a 3.5 out of 5 for me. So that's just how I feel. Moving on to my favorite of the month, which I'm so happy because I was hoping it would be my favorite, and that is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. I loved it. Again, the cover is very autumnal, and I'm happy to say inside is just as autumnal. That's always a win for me. When the cover matches the inside, check, 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 I'm a happy girl. This is just, this book is set in 1997 in small town Vermont. It's got a playlist at the beginning of it full of like cranberries, wallflowers, Sheryl Crow, Marcy's Playground, like just everything, a fall, everything a millennial 90s girl at heart will love. So this book follows a character named Michelle, who at the beginning of the book, like a lot of these characters, is going through it. Her mother has sadly passed away, and her husband is like, look, we need to tell everybody we're getting divorced. And she's like, can we not do this at the funeral? And he's like, no, I need to leave because I'm not married to you anymore. And so he's just a jerk. But pretty much she goes to Vermont because her parents were running this really small bed and breakfast. Michelle is going to run it from the Burmas from September to December until her sister can take it over. And from there, she kind of learns the lay of the land. She's very closed off person. She's kind of cold, but she is trying to learn how to be more hospitable. Is that the right word? Because she's an inn owner, so people want that. And so she meets her next door neighbor, Cliff, who is a single dad of 2 girls, and everybody in the town loves him. He's the town's baker. Everybody likes him, and eventually they become friends, and he's like, I'll help you to like run the inn a little bit, know things, you know, how to be kind of have the demeanor for running it in. And of course, romance happens, and it was just so adorable. Like I said, he's a baker, and he was trying to find the perfect like pastry for Michelle. Like he would bring her a cinnamon roll and see if she took a bite, and he's like, that's not it. And then like he would just test and test and test, and it was like amazing. Also, the dog Rocket on the cover was her ex's dog. He was just, oh, he was so amazing. He was so much in the book. It's just adorable. The one qualm I have with this book, it is so long. It is 500 pages. it did not need to be 500 pages. It really, really didn't. But when I think about it overall, I still really enjoyed this book. I like that it takes place in all the Burr months. They do all the autumnal things, trick-or-treating, pumpkin stuff, the inn. It's just a warm hug. It's a warm, cute fall romance that is very reminiscent of Gilmore Girls. I know every fall romance that comes out is always like, just like Gilmore Girls, just like Gilmore Girls. And a lot of them sometimes I don't think are. I think just because you have a small town book doesn't immediately give it Gilmore Girls vibes, and this is one that does, in my opinion. So I'm happy to say I really, really enjoyed it. So there you have my thoughts and feelings on the 7 books I read this month, which again, it's not the best, but overall, I'm happy with it. I think it was a good reading month overall. Sadly, no 5 stars, but there's always hope for the next month. If you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts and comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.